Welcome to another Kali Tutors tutorial session. In this tutorial session, we'll be focusing on Sus1501 assignment number 3. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure that you get access to all the videos as we upload them. Before we focus on assignment number 3, there are several concepts that we need to be familiar with. And one of the key concepts that you need to understand is consequentialism. What do we mean by consequentialism? According to some definitions, consequentialism is a doctrine that the morality of an action is to be judged solely by its consequences. This simply means that under consequentialism, we only focus on the results. Therefore, anything done to benefit the majority is good, and we should not worry about the pain of the minority. One of the broad examples of consequentialism is utilitarianism. According to utilitarianism, the most ethical or utilitarian choice is the one that produces the greatest good for the greater number. Utilitarianism does not care about the morality of an act as long as the outcome from the act is beneficial to the majority, then it is good. This is because utilitarians are not moralists like deontologists. In other words, the rightness or goodness of an action can only be judged after the results. So, if we look at our assignment, which option talks about the majority benefiting from an act? Okay, let us look at the options that are given in the assignment. Okay, the first option says, okay, what's Copal got to do with me? The second option says, the DRC is a long way from where I live, so I don't really care. The third option says, this is just a fact of global supply chains and necessary for global economic growth, which is in everyone's best interest. If you look at this option, and then you'll realize that it talks about benefiting the majority, everyone's best interest. If it's in everyone's best interest, that means it is in the majority's interest for cobalt to be extracted the way it is extracted. So that is, if you look at this one, this is the most utilitarian option based on what I've just said. Okay, so let us move on to the next slide. So let us look at the assignment itself. The assignment itself has several steps, and the first step is step 0. It tells you that you must do assessment number 1. If you haven't already done it, please go to the at a crossroad section and do assignment number 1. So I've displayed an image showing what you should see if you have actually completed that assignment, that assessment. So the assessment has 20 questions, and if you've answered all of them, you should get your 100%. Okay, but please make sure that you do this assessment before you do the other assignments. Other than that, you'll get a 0, and the SUS people don't even play. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, step number 1. It tells you that you must set the scene. This step is basically for you to be familiar with the conditions that the children are working under in DRC. You don't have to write anything in that section. You just have to go to YouTube and look at the pictures, and then once you're done, you'll have a good understanding of what's happening in DRC. Then you can make an informed decision. Okay, then step number 2. This step counts 60% towards your assignment final mark, right? So in this case, you have to answer all the questions that are asked there. The first question asks you, which is the most likely utilitarian option in the multiple choice questions above? I think we've just answered that one. If you haven't really grasped the concept, please watch the video again, and then maybe you'll get some understanding, and then you'll take the right decision and choose the correct option. So the second one, they want to find out why do you say so. When answering this question, you need to have to take into the account what you have learned about utilitarianism. you have to incorporate that into your argument. Okay, I think we've covered that in the first slide. So use that theory that I taught you in the first slide to actually answer that question. And then they ask you, what do you feel about this option? This one is personal. They want to know your point of view. The first one, you need to respond using the theory that you have learned. I'm referring to number 2. But number 3, it's you. They want to know, what do you feel about that option? When they say about this option, they mean the one that you chose as the most utilitarian option. Then the last part is that, okay, which option did you choose? So you can only be able to answer number 4 if you have done assessment number 1. You just have to write exactly what you chose, and then that's it. Then the instruction says post the answers to this in the discussion forum below. Once you have posted this answer, the rest of the group submission will become visible. I think for the majority of you who are submitting this late, the responses from the other students are already visible because the deadline had actually passed, so they sort of extended it because they had issues. Okay, so step number 3, they say you need to comment on other students' submissions. So be careful, this one counts 40% of your marks. 40% of these assignments marks. So you need to really do exactly what they tell you here. If they say that you need to write at least 100 words, make sure that you write 100 words. Or if they say write 5 lines, make sure that you write 5 lines. Don't just type in like a couple of words and think that you'll get that 40%. Okay, let me read what the instruction says. Okay, at this stage, it is important that you are not just posting your own answers. This simply means you don't have to repeat what you said. You need to engage meaningfully with the responses of other students. Read what they said and then digest it and then respond to what they are saying. You can use some of your arguments, because that's what you know, to support your decision. If you are arguing with them, then you have to say, okay, you are saying 1, 2, 3, but I don't agree with you because of 1, 2, 3, 4, and the theory says 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's how you respond to that question. Okay, so you need to respond to at least 3 students. So in total, your responses should be about 300 words if you combine them. So I think I would suggest that you write your responses first on using Word, and then make sure it's actually 5 lines. Once you're done with that, copy it from Word and then paste it on the group discussion forum. Okay, so this is an example of a bad comment. This one, I'm sure this person won't even get 10% of that 40% if this is the only comments that he or she is providing. You can't just say, hi, I disagree with you, the children are being exploited, then they do not die premature. You have to sort of write, okay, write like about 100 words minimum. I think it's 100 words, not just 16 words, and you think that you'll get like that 40%. So yeah, okay. So okay, after you've completed your assignment, it should be completely clear to the lecturer that you understand what is meant by consequentialism, you understand what is meant by utilitarianism, and then he or she should be able to get it from your responses. Okay, and I think that is about it. Yeah.